In my last video, we saw how to use ZeroTier for remote access, but is Tailscale a better option? If so, how to securely access your home lab using Tailscale? Let's find out. Hey there, Geek Army, Anand here. In the past, we've explored ways to make your home lab accessible from anywhere using reverse proxy. But often this involves opening ports on your router or firewall. While it is a common approach, it can be a security risk. Enter Tailscale. In simple terms, Tailscale is a modern, secure, and user-friendly way to create a private network between your devices. Tailscale doesn't require you to open any ports on your router and uses WireGuard protocol. There are other apps that do similar things like ZeroTier. Some of you pointed out TwinGate in my last video, which I have not used, but I have used ZeroTier and I covered it in my last video. In that video, I also mentioned that I am moving from ZeroTier to Tailscale for several reasons. When I started out, all I wanted was a way to privately connect my devices to each other, and ZeroTier was perfect. The only reason I picked ZeroTier was that I could pick my private IP range. But my needs grew quickly and I found that Tailscale offered several more advanced features. For example, a native app for Synology NAS, whereas I had to use the Dockerized version of ZeroTier on Synology. There were a few other nice features including Tailscale SSH, subnet routers, and more. In addition, ZeroTier has been removing features from the free plan. For example, when I signed up, the free plan included 25 devices and now they have reduced it to 10 devices. On the contrary, Tailscale's free plan includes 3 users and 100 devices. What I also like is that Tailscale apps seem to be a bit more polished than ZeroTier's. Unlike ZeroTier, on the Tailscale app, I can see a list of all the machines in my Tailnet. Your IP range may not be in the typical private IP range, but that's okay. If you prefer other ways of safely exposing your home lab or interconnecting your devices, let me know in the comment section. I like to learn from you guys as well. A quick plug. Take a look at the playlist in the description below. I started from scratch and showed you step by step how to build your Docker-based home lab. And if you like my content, I would really appreciate it if you could consider signing up for a membership on my website, which will also give you several benefits including DEPLOYRR access. If that is too much, no worries, you can still show your support for free by giving this video a thumbs up, subscribing to my channel, and hitting the notification bell. Moving on, let's see how to install Tailscale, connect your devices, and access them remotely. Alright, we're going to do exactly what we did with my ZeroTier video. First, we're going to set up our Tailscale account. Then we're going to install Tailscale client on many devices, Windows, Linux. We're also going to see how to do that on Docker. And then finally, we're going to test to see if we are able to access our apps remotely. So here I am on my Tailscale account. It's brand new account. I haven't done anything. The only thing I recommend maybe is going over into the settings section and then the device management and turn on manually approve new devices. It's just a little bit of extra security. So I've done that already. So when I add new devices, I'll have to manually approve it. And this way I can also configure the IP address at the time I add new devices to my Tailnet. So that's why I turn this one on. Okay. So next, we'll have to hit the download button. That takes us to the page where we can download the installer for Windows. You see it right here, download and install it. It's a fairly simple process. I'm not going to show it right here. I've already done that and Tailscale is running right here. You can see that. I'm going to hit this button and that takes you to the connect page. Since I'm already logged into my account, I saw the connect page. If not, you will see the login screen. Okay, so I'm going to hit connect and within a few seconds or so, you can see that the notification already popped up here. So when I go over to my admin page, I should see that pop up right here. It already picked up a new IP. So I'm going to configure a few things. It does need approval before everything is active, right? So I'm going to hit this. If I want to change the IP, there is a page where Tailscale explains all the different IP addresses that are available to you. The IP range is right here. I'll put the link in the description below. What I like to do is, it doesn't really matter what we pick for the network ID. The first 2 bits, I like to reuse the same thing for all the other machines. And then the last 2 bits for the last 2 bits for the machine or the host ID, I like to pick something that is standard. Once again, my home network is on 5 subnet here. Let me do 10. And then the last bit, I like to keep it the same on all different networks. That means if this laptop right now that I'm working on is 122 on my home network, I like to keep it on 122 on my Tailnet as well. So I'm going to update the IP, so the IP will change. I still need to approve the machine, so let's wait for this to be done. It just takes a few seconds, and there you go, it's done. So now I can approve this machine, and this should connect in few seconds. So if I go down right here, I even got a pop-up, so I got a notification, so that was done already. So if I go in here and take a look at this, there are several different options on Tailscale. Okay, so I'm not going to go through all of the different options right here. You can see the IP address on Tailnet right here. Exit nodes are another awesome feature. You can make this machine the exit node for all the other devices that are connected to the same network. What that means is that the traffic from all other devices on your Tailnet will go through this machine. So if this machine is located in the US, your traffic will look like it's coming from the US. So it's your own VPN sort of thing. If you have a Mulvad account, you can do that as well. So all your traffic will go through Mulvad. You can also allow access to the local network. There are many advanced features here. Once again, you can look through it. There's some documentation. I'm still learning myself as well. So for this video, we're just going to try to see how we can access our services remotely. For now, we have our Windows machine connected. Next, we'll see how to install the Tailscale client on a Linux machine. So I will head back to the download page and hit on Linux. As we saw with the ZeroTier client, there is a one-line script that we can use. So we're going to copy that. I'm already logged into my DEPLOYRR development environment. This is the exact same system that I used with ZeroTier as well. So let's copy and paste that, and this should install ZeroTier. So let me type in my password and just give it a few seconds. And there you go. You can ignore the error message that you see here. I'm just messing around with some stuff. But right now, Tailscale should be installed. So I'm going to do sudo apt install Tailscale, and it should say that it's already, there you go. So okay, we've installed Tailscale, but we haven't really connected our system to the Tailnet yet. We can do that using Tailscale up command. So I'm going to do sudo Tailscale up, and this should start the process of connecting our system to our Tailnet. I'm going to right click on that link, copy that, head over to the browser that I am logged in, paste that link, and you may be asked to log in once again, but right now I just have to hit connect, and this system should connect to the Tailnet. And just like what we saw with the Windows system, right here we already see that it popped up, but you can already see the difference here. 100.102 is the network ID or network bit. Here it's 100.85. So again, like I said, I really like to keep everything harmonized, so this way I can remember a lot of stuff. So I'm going to edit the machine IPv4, and I'm going to make this, what did we pick? I think we picked 85. So I'll make it 85 and 10 and leave the last bit as is. So 85 right here and 10 and then 33. Of course, you can change 33 to whatever you want. And then I'm going to hit approve, and this should be approved. Now, if I head back to my terminal window, there you go. As soon as you hit approve, it says success, and we should be done. What we're going to do right now is we're going to do IP and A, and we are going to see a new network interface, which is Tailscale 0, and the IP address on this network interface is 100.85.10.33, which is the IP address that we just set. So from my Windows machine, I should already be able to connect to my Linux machine and access the services. So for that, what we can do right now is I have my deployer dashboard. If you do not know what deployer is, check out this introductory video that will be linked right now, and you can learn about deployer. It automates the installation of various apps and makes it very simple. It also automates the installation of Tailscale, so check it out. For now, you can see on the dashboard I have many apps that are running. So just like I did with my ZeroTier installation, I'm going to click on DigiCam, and you can see that I am able to access it on 192.168.5.160. This is my home network, so it's no surprise that I'm able to connect to this service on my home network because my laptop is connected to the home network and my server is also running on the home network. But if I do 10.160, which is, well, it's not really 10. I have to change the network ID as well. So it was, I believe, 100. Let me go back to the machines list and check. 100.85. So 100.85 dot 10.33, I believe, is what we gave it. So this is where it gets a little bit tricky. So this is why I probably should have called it 160 instead of 33. So 33 right now is the host ID, and that's what we're going to use. So if I hit this, I should still be able to access DigiCam. So DigiCam, a service that's running on my home server, in this case, the deployer development environment, is accessible using my home network IP as well as using the Tailnet IP. There you go. So another thing that we can also do is if I go here, we can also see the host name of the machine, DP2404. So what I can also do is I can use the host name to access it, DP2404, and I should be able to access DigiCam. Voila. So this is really convenient and awesome. So one more thing we still have to check is Docker. But before we get into Docker, I'm going to uninstall Tailscale from this machine because I'm going to be using the same test machine. I don't want any conflicts. So I'm going to do sudo apt remove Tailscale, and that's done. So we've removed Tailscale, so I'm going to do IP and A just to make sure that there is no network interface connected to my Tailscale account. So Tailscale 0 network interface is gone. Next, we're going to use deployer to install Tailscale, just like what we did in my ZeroTier video. Don't worry, deployer just pulls the Docker Compose template for Tailscale and installs it. This would be the exact same file that you would use if you were to install Tailscale manually using Docker. I will show you where you can get the file from. So here is the deployer GitHub repository. So if you go into Compose folder right there and scroll all the way down, you're going to see Tailscale YAML file. This is the file that we're going to use. Really, there's not much you need to configure right here. You can see that. I'm going to see if I can make it bigger so you see better. Tailscale is the name of the container. We're going to make it restart unless we stop it manually. I use Docker profiles to group similar apps together, so you can comment it out if you do not like it or if you don't use it. So I would comment this out. The network mode is host, so Tailscale will appear as if it's running on the Docker host. You need to make certain features available, capacities available. You're also passing through the network device node to this machine. In my case, my deployer environment is an unprivileged LXC container, which is where I run most of my Docker stuff on. So if you're really interested on that, check out my video on how to run Docker on an unprivileged PROXMOX LXC. Now, if you are running an unprivileged PROXMOX LXC, you will need to pass through the network device node from the host machine into the unprivileged LXC container. So to do that, once again, here's the video to use and follow those instructions to pass through this device. Then we have the place where we'll find all the Tailscale related files on the Docker host. The only thing that you probably will have to set is this one right here, auth key. So let's go ahead and create the auth key. So I am on my Tailscale account right here. Let's go to settings and keys. Let's hit on generate auth key. We're going to call this test. If you plan to authenticate multiple machines, then you could enable this one. You could also set the number of days that this key will be active. This will not impact the connection of your device to your Tailnet. It's only the amount of time or the number of days this key will be active. In case you plan to connect more devices tomorrow, you can just set it to 2, and then today and tomorrow you can connect more devices. I'll just leave it at 90 for now, and I'm going to generate a key. Now here is the key. I copied it over. I'm going to open a notepad session and paste it just so I do not lose it. As I said, we're going to use DEPLOYRR to set up Tailscale. So here I am on the main menu of DEPLOYRR. We're going to go into the apps section right here. Right now, DEPLOYRR supports about 101 apps. I'm continually adding more and more apps to it. So for now, we're going to scroll down and find Tailscale. So where is it? Right here. So let's hit that. You're going to see some basic explanation of what DEPLOYRR is about to do and how Tailscale is going to work. Read through it. It's informative. So right here, we're going to paste the key that we just copied over. Now, what this does is essentially it creates an environment variable. You can also do it manually. I will show you how to do that just as soon as this process is done. So starting Tailscale, and there you go. Tailscale is now done. But how do you connect your Tailscale container or this Docker host machine, since we're running on network mode host, to the Tailnet? So we're going to see that. We're going to press enter and exit out of this. So while we're at it, I'm going to show you how you can create the environment variable. So if I go cd ... and then into the Docker folder and nano.env, oh, I should use sudo nano env and go all the way down here. Right here, I am. You can see the environment variable that was automatically created by DEPLOYRR. You can do the exact same thing manually. Okay, and then if we go into the compose folder and to the host folder, if you do not know how I set up my Docker file and folder structure, please check out my video on Docker or this guide right here. Both of them explain how I set it up. All the individual services are on their own Docker Compose file, and then there is a master Docker Compose file that pulls everything together, which is right here. So if I right click on that and open that here and scroll all the way down, you're going to see that Tailscale was automatically added to the master Docker Compose file. So let me head over to my Mobaxdem environment and go to, oh, not app data, but compose folder and this, and let's see here. It's all in reverse alphabetical order. So right here, Tailscale. And this should open up the compose file that was pulled from the GitHub repository I just showed you previously. Here's the environment variable. So we're good to go here, but we will have to connect our system. As I said, how do we do that? Sudo docker exec -ti bin/bash and Tailscale. This should get us into the terminal inside the container, but we're not going to do that. We're going to use my bash aliases. If you do not know what they are, check out this guide. This explains how to use bash aliases to simplify Docker and Docker Compose commands. So we're going to do dexec and Tailscale and /bin/bash. And okay, so it's good that I am seeing this error right now, because I should probably just use sh, not bash. Now, there you go. So I am inside the container right now. So if you do see that error, some containers support bash, some containers support sh. So you will have to use the right one. If one fails, just use the other one. So let me get back in. Now, if I do Tailscale up, I get the URL. Basically, you don't really need to do anything. If you go into your account already to the machines, you should see something waiting for approval. Right here, there is another machine now, DP2404-1. Since we're on the same machine, the host name, it's the same. Tailscale automatically adds a -1 at the end. Of course, we removed the Tailscale native package right here, so this is non-functional anymore. So as we did for the other ones, let's edit the machine. Well, we don't really need to edit the machine name. In this case, you can see that it was auto-generated. You do have control over the host name or the machine name. You can change it this way. but we're going to edit the IP address just like what we did. We used 85, so let's put that on 85 so they're all on the same network ID. And then the last bit, once again, you can leave it, you know what, let's do 160 so it matches my deployer server that I am using. So now this machine needs to be approved and it should be ready to go. So it's been approved. So if I go back to this terminal right here, you can see that it's done. So let's do a IPA right now and check it out. Right here, you can see Tailscale 0. So even though Tailscale is running in Docker, since we are on host mode, you can see that an interface Tailscale 0 was created on your Docker host, and it's using the IP address that we just configured. Okay, so once again, the last thing that's left is to test our apps. So let's get back to our deployer dashboard right here. Let's go over to DigiCam, and if I click on that, once again on the subnet 5, I can still access it because my laptop is still part of the home network. Now, what if I change it to 100.85. I forgot 10.160 and 303, I should still see it. Now, what if I use DP-2404? It should not work because we decommissioned the DP-2401. So let's see here. There you go. It's taking forever to load. That means it's not going to work. What we should be using is this DP-2404-1. So let's add a 1 at the end. There you go. It didn't load. So let's add a 1 at the end, and voila. So we can access DigiCam. And there you go. This is how you can add more and more devices to your Tailscale account. If you have a mobile phone, just download the app and install it and connect it to your account. And from then on, you will have access to all your HomeLab services from wherever you are. As I said, one thing I really like about Tailscale is that the app shows the list of all the machines that are connected, their IP addresses. Really something handy to have, something I missed in ZeroTier. Now, if you're doing something really cool with Tailscale that I didn't cover with this video, be sure to let us know in the comments section. I'm sure everybody would appreciate reading that, including myself. Otherwise, this is the end of the video. I hope you really liked it. Please, once again, consider liking, subscribing, and hitting that notification bell. But more importantly, sign up for one of the membership options that I have on my website. That's what covers all the costs and keeps me going. I appreciate your support so far. Thank you for staying. I'll see you in my next video. Go Geek Army.